So could get even more into a mind bender this, right? Breaking that glass window, right? So look, Tumultuous Petitioning Act 1661. Any members of the public bringing a petition to either the Commons or the Lords or the King, and there were so many people that petitioning had to be checked by either 3 justices or a grand jury. After that, we get added the right to petition the King, he, him, with the protection immunity. That's the purpose of it, to create the immunity, without being held to any commitments, though. So what you be held to the commitments for the Tumultuous Petitioning Act, but is that when you're only petitioning the King, he, him, not the Lords or the Commons? That's the question. Are you shooting the crossbow bolt through the middle of both houses, to petition the King? But regardless of that, Tumultuous Petitioning Act is abolished 1986, funnily enough, with the Mexico World Cup peak. Can you remember that little peak character, that Chile? The Panini sticker book with the long night sort of freelance night thing. So no petitions after 1986 needed to be checked by 3 justices or a grand jury to give permissions, right? And in fact, illegal prosecutions by the King's Bench for matters that can only be decidable by the Parliament, which is either of the Houses or the King. So the thing with that is the King's Bench, this holy embrace situation, a judge and a jury, the King's Bench is the courts, right? Whether it's the Supreme Court or Crown Court or whatever, like the Lord Hanningfield case. The thing is, right, if Bradbrook breaks the bank window, right, what happens if she goes to trial and jury and, the random jury's picked, however many people? And what happens if by random chance, like the guy who owns the bank's chosen for the jury, right? Or someone who works in the bank, right? How about that? And the fact that the banks are doing their own campaigns to government, lobbying and so forth, which might be in opposition to Extinction Rebellion, this is the thing. With a case to the Parliament for laws being made and changed, or an inquiry or whatever you want to Parliament, casework to Parliament, it's meant to be for elected MPs to decide our case for us. Really, our elected MPs, ministers and the permanent lords, barons, they are the lawyers that we elect to represent us for free. Really, and we are like, in a normal case, whether it's a civil case or whether it's a criminal case, you've got your victims, plaintiffs, defendants, blah, 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 blah. Your lawyers are your legal representatives. We're meant to have duty solicitors who are meant to be free and so forth under national insurance if you want someone, or you can represent yourself if you know the law. In Parliament, really, the MPs are the position of what we would have as the lawyers who are meant to represent us on our behalf, whichever party you support. But the thing is, you've got this whole independence thing, but there are some independents, but you can't really bring your own case yourself when represented in Parliament because you can't get in there. Well, you can go in the spectator thing, but they speak for us in Parliament, although you can submit a very, very strong case with the assistance of your MP or without the assistance of your MP. I mean, the thing is, look, you can go online, right, and do small claims court, submit all your documents, and then you can just leave it, and then a judge looks at it and sorts it out. The other party might not even submit a defence, like if it's McDonald's or just random plaintiff John, might not even bother submitting a defence, for a claim against TuneCore or Amazon. They might not bother turning up, and the judge might make a judgment in default. So you don't have any lawyers there if you don't want. You can submit it all by online form, like the ccb.gov now, the small copyright claims court thing, right? So the thing with the things with the bank managers is that the thing is under the advertise forget criminal damage, right, and being charged with an offence, which you only get victim surcharge. That's nothing to do with paying the banks back. Really, look, under the advertisements thing, putting up advertisements and so forth, consent and deemed consent comes with permissions and exemptions. You're exempt from both deemed and express consent with the right to petition because you get consent from the Act to do what you were doing without being liable to be prosecuted. That's the thing. Is it an advert for the campaign or not? Now, the thing is with the private property, under that Act, how it's dealt with is that, as far as I've read, and you can get Jonathan N. Fuller to read every single word and syllable in it if you want, it seems to me that if it is the public's property, then the council issues a notice of removal, but they can't issue a notice of removal if it's Class F, right? If it's commercial adverts, they can issue a notice of removal if they haven't got consent. If they have got consent, then, it's all under with council permission and so forth. Now, with the private buildings, if the private person wants the council to sort it out, they can take the council to to remedy the advertisement or remove it, and the charge of council the council charges the property owner for sorting it out. So it seems to me that I think it's covered. The way I see it is, if it falls into the political realm of politics, advertising political campaigns through whatever manner and means, whether it's a letter, sign, symbol, or representation, or effigy, or whatever you want, it seems to me you're not accountable to be criminal, and any expenses are covered by the public, which means that the taxpayer pays for it, because the taxpayers are signing the petitions and they have an interest in it. So they're giving them interest when you start clocking up signatures. The ironic thing is, in the situation versus the banks have got their own political movement. In fact, the banks doing their business and investing in oils and so forth, and what they're lobbying the government to do is their own political action. Now, the thing with political campaign intervention, it's their normal business. It's not declared as politics. Now, the unusual situation we've got now is that Warburton's going about bread business, or banks going about bank business, is meant to be business, right? It's not politics. But they do a bit of politics themselves, don't they? They do a bit of lobbying to get the laws changed, right? And even they're taking parliaments to court. They're bossing parliaments around, which is what Matt Kennard said. But the thing is, really, with political campaigns, both us, Gail Bradbrook, Jonathan Fuller, me, you, anyone, any electors and voters, we elect our ministers to represent us in Parliament and debate the matters in Parliament, including the bank manager. Now, that means the bank manager gets his MP to sort it out, like, the guy in Dartmoor with his, fucking camping regulations and so forth, getting his MP to debate it. Look, these businesses and companies and banks are not Parliament. They aren't the Parliament. They aren't the government. Now, I don't know about all this ridiculous taking parliaments to court. It all seems ridiculous to me because, you can't have a business without Parliament granting them permission to have a business through, the registration with Companies House. It's all getting rather ridiculous with this. As soon as David Cameron started even selling off, BT, British Gas, Yorkshire Water and all these things, and then you get these, who is the telephone company executive? Look, go back to 1975, right? You pick up the telephone, right? You're ringing Ida Braithwaite up. Hello, Ida, how are you going? Oh, I'm okay. Did you like your Christmas present? Oh, I love my Christmas present. That's great. What did you get? Oh, I got some socks. That's brilliant. Would you like to go on holiday with me next week? Oh, yes. By the way, I'm doing a petition. Would you like to sign it? Oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah, them bloody, the bloody government, this and that. And, that's my conversation. Now, if it suddenly goes, did she hang up on me? Or as, back in 1974, did 77th Brigade just do the operators listening to the phone call? Or try to ring her up. Oh, there's no answer. Was there really, did someone cut it off? Are they still listening to the homes to the phone line? We don't know, because there wasn't any, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg with an opinion on what we were or not saying over the phone line. It's my telephone. I buy a telephone, I fit it in, we pay British Telecom. I pick the phone up, there's a phone book, I can ring who the fuck I want. There's 10p, there's a phone call. Hello, Grandma, I'm at the seaside, I just dug up something on the beach, an ancient relic from the prehistoric times. It says, look, here lies the gold symbol emblem of the rightful King of England, Oh, I just found this, Mum. Oh, what are you going to do with it? Oh, I might keep it for myself. Oh, you meant to report finds on the beach, Hello, is anyone there listening? Operator. Oh, this is the British Institute of listening in to everyone. It's not Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg. I should tell you what you should be saying or not on my telephone line. No, we don't have these people back then. We might have Secret Shadow Man, the Secret Shadow Department, Matt Hancock, or it's Ben Wallace, he's resigned, or the Shadow Man of the Shadow Department of the Shadow Lords. But no, it's not Mark Zuckerberg going, hey, I'm Mark, I'm Mark Zuckerberg, I own the world, I own Facebook and your telephone line, you can only send 100 messages a day under my triple hidden tabs because I'm a judo expert with a black belt. My business is your business. Today I tweeted to the world 4 words. I am Mark Zuckerberg. What do you do, Mark? Hey, I advertise. I make billions from what? Selling other people's crap on my websites. Just whatever it is, it's like Rodney, Trotter and Del Boy. What you got today, Mark? Packet of crisps, 5 gold rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Hey, well done, Mark. Do you want a chocolate bar? Do you want another Mr. Beast Zapper bar that, Neil Mohan's been knocking those off? Here's some cocoa melons. We've shifted cocoa melons like there's no tomorrow. Mr. Beast bars. Good for your diabetes and cancer. Not. Hey, we're just shifting a load of crap. We shift the better. Oh, I've turned a new leaf now. I'm Mark Zuckerberg, owner of telecommunications of the planet, and here is Sir Nick Clegg to prove it, global president. And guess what? Yes, well, I'm inventing a new metaverse where there won't be any junk in I repent under the First Testament. I repent under the First Testament that I repent for filling the world with rubbish and junk and making billions out of it. So now what I'm going to do with the money is sell loads of headsets, loads more tech junk so you can make a mess in the metaverse instead. I'm sorry about making the real world a mess. We're going to make a mess and pretend mess now in the metaverse while, all these aliens come from outer space. Well, aren't the aliens happy in their little metaverse on their own planet, Mark? Well, they must not be if they've come all the way over to Earth to see what's going on in the real world. No. Aren't they already turned into Optimus Prime robots that don't need biological organic matter? No, not as far as we've seen so far. Apparently all UFOs are generally quite small craft with organic-ish, humanoid-ish aliens. Apparently they did not decide to move their consciousness into machines and robots and, live forever in a robot form and then decide that the robot form doesn't need to be humanoid anymore because there's no point being humanoid once you become a robot because it's not functional. It might as well be a 18-legged spider robot thing or whatever. This is it. Oh, it's Mark Zuckerberg. I'm ready to change the world. Yes, but we don't need to leave here for another 1 million years. No, it's okay. It's Brian Cox. Hey, I'm Brian Cox. I'm famous. I'm off to loads of shows. Here's a fancy Ferrari, and now I'm the important man. Let's go to the Hadron Collider. I'm on TV. I'll tell you what I think about the metaverse. Lots of money and fame for me. Hey, Brian, why don't you go on TV and tell all the banks and, other companies to stop making a mess of the world? Have you thought of trying that one? No, I'm too busy talking about the universe and the wonders of the amazing universe. Why don't you go to the courtroom with Gail Bradbrook and spectate, with Jonathan Fuller? give some opinion on that. Okay, Brian Cox, you genius. What's your opinion on the Town and Country Planning Act and the use of a effigy or letter or sign or a representation? Do you think that qualifies as an advertisement? Brian Cox, in all your wonders of the universe, it certainly can't be criminal damage. It seems to be dealt with in this act here. You know, this is it. These banks are... They're not the government. They're starting to try and pass off as governments now, or even rule governments, and that's not the way it's meant to be. But someone, you know, bought up all these companies, and now they've got these bigger things that, you know, kind of like, you know, every time I take a photograph of something in the kitchen now, it's 10 seconds later I go onto YouTube, and then it pops like an advert pops up identical. Why? How? So, you know, this is the thing, you know, well, maybe back in 1973, when all the telephone calls that were worth listening into, the government must have known what they were all operated. You know, I'm in Cleethorpes on holiday, and I just found a special medallion on the beach, you know, and London calling, they already know. You know, this is it. Unfortunately, now we've got Neil Mohan knows, you know, I just wiped my bum with a sheet of toilet paper and I put blue socks. Now, Neil Mohan knows that I'm in the kitchen. Neil Mohan knows I'm in the hall. Neil Mohan knows I'm outside, inside, outside, inside. I'm on the roof. I'm on the floor. I'm in the cellar. I'm out the door. And here we go. I'm about to put my hand in a bag, a blind bag, and I'll pull out a random t-shirt. You won't know what colour it is until I pull it out. Ta-da! Now, shh! Don't tell anyone or Neil Mohan will know. Yes, the new telecommunication laws have been revealed, previously unknown to the general public. We only suspected they might be listening to operator. Hey, can I have a reverse charge call to the shadow boss of the government, please? It's okay now. It's Mark. It's just Mark and Elon. It's okay, everybody. We're cool characters who everyone can relate to. We're just doing this tech, AI tech, so then we don't need the government operators sat in the room listening in to our conversations on the old telephone line. No, it's all AI. Now we know what you like, what you do, what you say. Hey. No, actually, we'd like to oppose this in the Parliament and the banks. And actually, you know, if the bank wants to oppose it, they can do a petition of their own or lobby the government. We hereby are in opposition to the banks. So does that mean that the illegal campaign intervention? Well, is this a political campaign? You know, is this bank a political campaign or is it a business? Let me just have a look at its certificate. Here is Lloyds Bank Limited. Oh, they've got no limits anymore. Now it's LLC or CBV or, you know, corporate entity. No limits to reach for the sky. You know, is this a bank or is this a non-profit political campaign? Is it a business? Because if it's not a political campaign, then it's not in opposition to me. So then it's not illegal campaign intervention. Illegal campaign intervention of non-profits who can, you know, use some of their political, their donations for political means. If it's a business and company, then you're not intervening in its political campaign if you break its window, are you? No. So I don't think Gail Bradbrook. So. Hello, Lloyds, TSB. Can you please declare the purpose of this organisation? Is it declared as a democratic organisation? Or is it declared as a company in business and the company's house? If so, please declare now. And then we're not intervening in the bank's political campaign through 501c. So, Gail Bradbrook is not intervening in a political campaign with a hammer. She is opposing one on making a sign, an advertisement in opposition and in promoting her own campaign and encouraging people to also promote it. Unless the bank want to declare that they are a democratic organisation, I don't know. as far as I know. It's Extinction Rebellion is set up as a limited company, but we know that they are doing political actions to government. But then again, so the banks may be. But, do we just both get our MPs to debate it out in Parliament? Or does it turn out that some of the people who are running the bank are the MPs in Parliament? If so, are we going to get a fair judgment and debate of our petitions? And are the petitions committee going to accept them or reject them if they're on the bank side? Unlikely. There is a situation in law called fair trial impossible. Could it be fair politics impossible? This is the thing, whether you think this is a load of bollocks or not, there is some sense in this. There is some of that as well. This is why, I think this is why they got rid of the grand jury in the Tumultuous Petitioning Act. It's meant to be, you're meant to be getting people to support a side, choose a side, in order to get the government to act. So, you're, in a way, you are getting some people to support the cause and some people to oppose it when you do certain advertisements. But I guess, all petitions and actions over the same matter must be amalgamated, whether it's for or against. If it's build a bridge or demolish a bridge or don't bridge a bridge, all the petitions say that the bridge is a serious matter and it needs to be debated. And if you get enough, then it could even be a referendum about it. But whether it is concerning the bridge or not, the more concern there is, then the more the matter needs to be debated or a decision made on it in the Parliament. And the more you get on one side or the other, that's the referendum. Then you definitely see who's on one side or the other. There is logic behind this. If I think that the bank, according to that, if we are going to, I kind of went on a bit of a tangent with the whole telephone thing, but I thought it was quite an interesting and worthy example of what's happening now with all the big platforms taking over our communications. So either breaking the window is a representation or a act. If it is, then it should come under town and country planning, and there is either consent or not. If it's political in Class F, really it should have consent. I think there could be a few details around that, but if there are, it is only details around whether it is or is not an advert and whether it does or does not fit those classes. There is absolutely no legal. I don't know where they keep pulling out all these reasonable and this whole proportionate. It's just like get the tape measure out. There is. I don't know what common law they do these courts and these 4-point tests and all this bollocks. There is no such thing with these political rights and so forth. Really, it's the way that it is meant to be. It's meant to be like filling in it's meant to be like posting a parcel to America. What is this? It is a pair of shoes. What is this? It's a sweater. What is this? This is documents. I tick the box. I fill the form in. I sign it. I put it in the post box. Have you paid enough postage on it? This is it. This is how these things are meant to be done. The decisions that the court are meant to make are not the ones they've been currently making with all this, Criminal Law Act and all this proportionate, reasonable and so forth. It's like what Gail said with the accelerator pedal. This police, if it would hinder the progress of the vehicle for the purpose of which it is being used, the speed limit doesn't have to be observed. Well, how fast can you go? What's proportionate? What's reasonable? Well, it doesn't actually say. Apparently, you could be going at 110 mile an hour or whatever it'll do. It says you don't have to observe the speed limit. It doesn't say whether you can exceed it by 10 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour, or whatever. This is how the immunity works in a few various acts. There is no measurable proportionate or not. Either you can do it or you can't. You're either using it for that purpose or you're not. This is the thing. And unfortunately, for the government, this is how it is with the use of the advertisements and these classes for certain purposes and so forth. If you've got a problem with that one, aren't you more concerned about how much the policeman can or cannot say, oh, we trust him though. We trust the policeman to make his own mind on how much speed is required in time. This is it. Why don't you badger the government about, making some more provisions of what's proportionate or reasonable or negotiable or arguable, under the Criminal Damage Act. Not that it ever gets questioned whether a fireman's actions are proportionate. Is it proportionate or reasonable to cut the vehicle roof off? Is it ever questioned? Never. If someone wanted to, then we'd be there. But no one seems to be bringing these charges. Is the fireman using a proportionate amount of water jet in this fire? It's all good. It's all good. Goody, 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 goody. It's all for the good. It's all for the good, for the common good. Give them a medal for the common good. This is it. It seems to be that's the debate on the news programmes, isn't it? On GB News, on Talk Radio. The villains, let's have the villains on. Boo, Extinction Rebellion, boo, Just Stop Oil. Ooh, it could go one way or the other. No, now they're heroes. Yay! Give them medals, they're heroes. There's no proportionate or reasonable calculations here. It's all good, we won't question it. This is it. That's the problem. Stick the fucking label on the parcel and ship it over. No, I can't. Donald Trump's put the prices through the roof. Now I used to talk to Americans on eBay all the time, public relations. I've got lots of friends in America. I send parcels here. They do me favours there. Look, £8, and then you squeeze it under the customs and so forth. Oh, none of that anymore. New regulations, £15 for FSH, and the minimum postage is £15, which basically means you can't send sweet FA. And, if you thought they were punishing our relations with America, Donald Trump, look after America first and screw everyone else, get talking to them on YouTube instead, not through the common people's, bartering in the budget world of second-hand goods, we don't want you chatting away through eBay and, doing good deals with each other, We'll squeeze the Americans' nipples instead internally. Oh, you little, you screwballs, we'll get, we'll even put the prices up through the roof for Americans, we're killing the working class here, but, Russell Brand loves Donald Trump. No, he's a villain, No, buy all your things from Jeff Bezos and Amazon, keep it Amazon. See what you're doing there, Donald and Jeff, little secret Donald and Jeff handshake there. Don't go second hand through eBay and grow your relationships and friendships with Americans, and the common people. No, all from Jeff, all automated, all Amazon delivered through Jeff. This is it, but Russell Brand, new communities, Russell, yes, I'm the blind brand, we're pushing the Trump JFK ticket, no, Russell, you're pushing the corporate empire of Amazon, because you don't have a clue what you're talking about, in fact, we shouldn't even really be buying any of this junk crap, even if it's second-hand, or, paying for the excess aeroplane flights across the Atlantic. But anyway, inspect the goods. Here is the parcel, and here is the postmaster, and here this parcel is declared as documents. Is the parcel documents? Let's have a look. Yes or no? Right, it is documents. Who knows, it could only paid up to 100 kilograms, or it's proportionate or not. Well, it tells you, the weight limit is exempt for Class F. Consent is given to any weight. Where does it say that? Well, it says here, what's proportional reason? It doesn't say anything at all whatsoever about what is reasonable or proportionate. It says if you are doing it for this purpose, you can, If not, you can't. And it says that you can do it here, you can do it there, you can do it anywhere. This is it. This is the problem. It's and if you want to be looking at the burning down, the Great Fire of London and the burning down of Parliament. It happened after the police force was formed. No Parliament building at all ever burned down until there was a full, complete, dedicated police force in London on regular patrols. Who would have believed it? Could that have been the first ever stunt to compel the public to show evidence it's like the Inquiries Act, evidence of public concern to substantiate the need of a police force. Oh, we really need this police force now. Yes, Parliament burned down, and we really, 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 really must obviously clearly need the police force. Well, it didn't burn down without the police force. We managed to catch Guy Fawkes without a police force. Well, miracles happen. Now there's a full, complete and dedicated 24-hour, fully manned and womaned police force. Oh, look, there's Parliament burning down. Oh, we definitely really need a police force. Now we'll have to increase the numbers of it and have surveillance and cameras everywhere. Who would have thunk it? Oh, it's almost like a political action. Yes, we need to convince the public, show evidence of public concern that we really need this surveillance. Oh, look, here's Gail Bradbrook trying to convince the public we really, really need to save the environment and cut down on carbon and the degrees. Yes. Well, who would have thunk it? At least she's not burning Parliament down. You can't prove that. You can't prove a thing. You can't prove a thing against this police force. Well, depends how you're using those special police rights. How fast you chasing the criminals at, 20 miles an hour over the limit, 30, 40, 100. I've got a limiter on my vehicle. Where's the limits on the police force, Then again, where's the limits on the military? This is it. Well, we'll soon to find out, aren't we? Because they need investigating.